Sernowski, Remax Costa del Mar. Welcome to another episode of Living in Rocky Point. And we have a very special guest today, which probably a lot of you people don't know about. I certainly didn't. And someone that I definitely want to meet in person and try his services. We have Brian Phillips today, and he is an acupuncturist and hypnotherapist, an energy healer, and whatever else that you're doing. Brian, can you tell us a little bit about your mad skills?
Yeah, they're, I mean, the acupuncture actually was like 3,300 hours of training. So it was 5.5 years being in hospital settings and clinical settings, learning a very unique skill that's been around for thousands of years. I often say that, with Western medicine is great. If you have a heart attack, you're in a car accident, but for almost everything else, it doesn't have a lot of good answers or a lot of good treatments. So, I was very accident prone being young. I've broken over 50 bones in my body. I've had multiple surgeries. And so I definitely had that firsthand experience of, oh, what works, what is safe and effective and actually can be helpful. And acupuncture for me was it blew my mind the first time I had a proper treatment done.
So when you told me it was Japanese acupuncture, and
so
it sounds stupid, but is there different?
A huge difference in the sense that the Chinese is what I first learned. The Chinese just use thicker, longer needles. The treatment isn't going to be as comfortable. I'm answering one of the questions, but a lot of people have concern about, I don't want needles in my body. They might have 20 tattoos on their body, but they're so scared of a little needle. So the Japanese style is much more gentle. It's more of a spa type of treatment. It's more of getting the immune system or the nervous system to be more parasympathetic. So a lot of people are sleeping during the treatment. The needles are, it's easier if you're seeing this in person, but they're just like a very fine, like they're like a human hair. So if I was trying to put one in like this, it just bends. They're actually rounded at the end. So they're not designed to cause any pain or discomfort. So most of the people, they might feel a bit of warmth or they might feel a little bit of a sensation, but it's not going to be a painful sensation. So a point might just, I don't know if you can see that, it's just, but they're very fine and gentle. So the first thing it does is it just kind of helps people really relax and it kind of brings our energy into alignment. So Japanese is a much more gentle, much more thorough. The Chinese treatment used to be a free system, a free treatment. So that doesn't mean that you're getting a very comfortable or very thorough treatment, because it's fine if the patient has to come back many times. The Japanese kind of, no, let's treat for a longer period of time and let's try and solve the problem in a shorter period of time. A lot of patients I see, I might only see once or twice.
And so what kind of conditions you would be?
I don't know of anything that I haven't treated, but I'm going to say probably the most popular are going to be like neck, back pain, a lot of the pain disorders sort of thing or conditions. But it's everything from MS to, again, spinal cord injuries was something that I was involved in deeply. But it's even metabolism, changing, just how the body works. It's as I said, I don't think there's anything that I haven't treated. Am I a specialist in everything? Of course not. But you can kind of treat everything in the body to just be at a more optimal state of health.
And this is a question from all the women of the world. What about snoring?
That's an interesting one because. Yeah, it's sometimes you can just fix it by just changing the position or having a better pillow sort of thing. Sometimes just a flap that goes down, and depending on how you are, some people are just going to be snorers, and sometimes you can't fix that. Sometimes actually getting the airways to work more efficiently, which you can do through acupuncture, can make the snoring worse. But it's that's an interesting one because definitely with hypnosis, I've done it quite a few times. Where we're just, as soon as, just where they're just more alert and they shift when they hear it, as opposed to just being deeply asleep and in that unconscious state sort of thing. So that one's a bit more, that one's a little bit more difficult to kind of promise a result on.
So like if someone was snoring or has a problem with snoring, you do a hypnotherapy treatment as supposed to?
With every person, it's going to be a little bit of a different thing.
Okay.
Honestly, sometimes it's simply somebody's come in, if that's their main issue, I'm just kind of like, yeah, okay, but you're sleeping on your stomach or your back. And if you sleep on your side and get a body pillow and do this, you won't snore. And so they do that and they don't snore. So if
So
they stay in that position.
You mentioned all the 3,300 hours of training, and where did you do that?
So I started in Victoria, BC, just north of Seattle, and I finished my training in downtown Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
Okay.
So, and that's where I met the Japanese professor that really helped me. I mean, I treated Christopher Plummer. It was right on Bay and Bloor, if you know that area, if you've ever been to Toronto. So it was, unfortunately, it's not there anymore because of COVID. That destroyed a lot of this industry, unfortunately. But
and how did you end up in this piece of paradise?
I've always loved Mexico. I've been to Mexico probably 20 times over my lifetime, which is, I've just always loved the people. And this is my first time ever driving into the country. So I was, and with a trailer and things like that. So I just thought I'd try it out, and I love the sea. And I found the first time I came to Puerto Peñasco with my dog and meeting certain people, I just fell in love with it. Like it really was, it's just a very special place, a lovely community, kind people. I mean, I think my dog's more famous than I am here. Most people know Rosie on the beach. Yeah. Yeah. So that's, and she's a Mexican street dog from Rosarito.
Well, you just touched the hearts of most of the people that come here and live here by saying that.
Oh, she touches my heart, and it's like, I keep thinking I saved and rescued her. I've had her 2.5 years now, but I think it's the other way around. Every day she brings me joy. She sometimes actually, with people that are, especially if they're dog friendly, she'll sometimes be part of the treatment. She'll actually lie in people's feet to help ground their energy, especially if they're a little bit nervous. She'll just come in, nope, I can fix that. And she does what she does. So,
oh, so cute.
Yeah. And actually, I found her on the streets of Rosarito, just on the west coast, just south of Tijuana.
Nice.
So yeah, so she's a West Coast dog. She's not liking the heat so much.
No.
As we're getting into the summertime.
Yeah. So we talked about the acupuncture, and tell me about your hypnotherapy and energy healing.
So the hypnotherapy, to me, acupuncture is great at working in the body, and actually indirectly it can help with emotions. It can help with things, because if things are off emotionally, things are going to be off energetically in our body, and vice versa is true. But our brain is so powerful, and I mean, I love people coming in and having no, I don't believe this is going to work. I don't think, to come in completely skeptical. That's my perfect patient, because then you actually know if I'm getting results or not. But in life, if we can use our mind to assist in ways that we might need assistance, it's so amazing and so powerful what it can do. Like when I think of all the phobias that I've helped, I've helped up in an assistance in helping these patients cure them. The addictions, I've helped people, write exams, essays, books. There's so many different things, and it's just kind of clearing. We can have blocks in the body energetically, but we also can have blocks in the mind. So, and they're so interconnected. That's why sometimes a treatment, I don't even know what I'm going to do until the patient's here. And then I'm just like, okay, we're going to do a bit of this. Are you open to a bit of this? Are you open to a bit of this? Like, the most important thing is just trying to get the best treatment that I can provide for the person or the animal that I'm treating. Like, I also treated dogs and horses for years as well.
So what made you, have you done this all your life, or what inspired you?
I've been a bartender for years. I was a sales executive for fine chemical plants in Switzerland.
Definitely a therapist, right?
Yeah, that is true. I just didn't like I was in Switzerland, and I just didn't like the smoking. Everybody smoked there, and I actually got sick from that. I just couldn't be in that environment any longer. Yeah. So then I had to do something different. and I've loved everything I've done. I've done so many different things, but I've always been drawn. I've always known since I was a child that I somehow was going to help people. I thought I was going to be a psychotherapist and a physiotherapist. That's what I thought I was going to be. Like, I always knew that I was going to do something with the body and something with the mind. So it's as soon as I started doing it, I knew it was the right thing for me, and I felt happy. And my happy place is when I'm helping somebody.
I love that. So,
So,
what if someone books an appointment with you and they just go, I just don't feel, I don't have my energy. I don't have the
right.
energy I want. I'm not sleeping. So, what can they expect? You know, what happens when they come to see you?
The main thing they can expect from me is that it's going to be an individualized treatment. So being able to do the energy work, muscle testing, I'm not giving a blanket, okay, well, here's just random things that work for most people. I'm going to be able to assess from their body, from who they are, what's going to actually work best for them. So, everybody gets a list of 10 to 20 to maybe just 5 things. Okay, these are really important things that you need to do to kind of change your life and to get to achieve the goals that you want. So if it's more energy, it could be exercise, eating right for your blood type. A lot of people are missing vitamin D3, even in the sunny Puerto Peñasco, because we really have to be out there in the sun, almost fully exposed for a certain amount of time. So quite often it will be a bit of acupuncture, because acupuncture is very efficient and very good at moving energy along, especially if there's a block somewhere. But yeah, so the main thing is they can expect is when I'm treating somebody, it's specifically for them, and the advice is for them. And if people follow through with what I've advised them, they always feel better.
Okay. And alternative healing combined with Western medicine, or what's kind of your opinion on that whole spectrum, and how is alternative medicine becoming more prevalent?
It's interesting, the alternative medicine, because really Western medicine is kind of almost alternative. Like the acupuncture has been around for thousands and thousands of years. Western medicine has only been around, for a much shorter period of time. So, but they do work very well together. I mean, that's why I spend a lot of time working with hospitals. I worked for 8 years with a rheumatologist. So I would assist and help and work with him, especially people that weren't responding to quite often the harmful drugs and medicine that they're being given as part of their treatment. Is that autoimmune disorders quite often, I can really help that with acupuncture or with omega-3 or, whatever it is for that individual person. So it's, I find it's quite complementary. So that is definitely something in Rocky Point. Yeah, I definitely should meet more doctors or treat more doctors so that I can get more involved in that community, especially when they're just finding, they just can't help this patient. At least they know somebody safe, a safe alternative that,
Right.
With acupuncture, I'm not harming anybody.
And how is there a time that like if I book a treatment, is there a time that it takes? Is it an hour? Is it half an hour? Is it just a minute?
I used to be very good at this. I find I take as long as that person needs. So that could be 45 minutes, an hour. That could be 3.5 hours. So as long as people have that time, of course, I do cater, I have to leave at this time. Okay, I'll set a timer and make sure that they're done at that point in time.
Okay.
So they may then have to come back another time. But quite often I just listen to the body. I listen to your energy, and it directs me better than I could. So, I mean, I'm still going to have my prescription of points and my theory. And I mean, if somebody has back pain, I'm still going to do a physical assessment to see what's causing that and why they have sciatic pain. Like, is it caused from the piriformis or from SI or L5? Or like, I need to know where it's coming from, why it's there, what's making it worse, sort of thing. But I'm still going to, our own bodies have so much intuition in our own health. So it could just be your body. I could be treating you for something, the snoring. It could be just like, oh, you know what? You have to stop drinking animal milk. You have to drink plant-based milk. It could be something as simple as that as well, that can greatly change somebody's health.
So you mentioned the sciatic. I have a friend who's got excruciating pain. Have you had a lot of success treating people with that condition?
Yes. Yeah. There's definitely a lot of time where people need surgery. And if they need surgery, sometimes there isn't much that I can do.
Right.
But if it's not, bone on nerve and if it's not, if it's, yeah, even in that case, it's still worth trying because you're not going to make anything worse. But that's probably the number one thing that I've had success with. I don't know how many people here in one treatment where they've had it for 6 months, a year, or even longer, and it's one treatment, some ice. I mean, there's still some care afterwards the patient has to do, but if they follow those instructions, quite often that one treatment can be all that they need.
And is that normally the acupuncture?
Normally with acupuncture, yes.
Okay.
Definitely. But it's still going to be a mixture of all those things.
Okay.
So definitely the energy work is going to help me to be, to help give the best advice of what they should do.
So I hear you saying lots of kind of combinations of what you do, the hypnotherapy. So do you find even things like sciatic that it could be stemming from, emotional stress, that your body's inflamed, blah, 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 that?
Stress is such a multifaceted thing. So, it could be emotional, it could be the gut biome is just unhappy, and that's causing a lot of inflammation. The inflammation doesn't know where to go, and it's going to go to a weak part in the body. Sciatic is quite often, at least it's a physical thing, but there's other things that can contribute to it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's getting into the energy work. It makes everything much more complex.
Right.
And that's the beautiful thing. We're all individual people, and we all need kind of an individualized treatment. And so I think, once again, I think that's the best thing that I can do, or my best skill is that I'm truly giving an individualized treatment. I'm not just, okay, here, take this anti-inflammatory. If I were even to do that or recommend it, at least I could tell them, you know what, your body doesn't feel good on these ones, but it feels good on this one. You can do that for a short period of time if that helps, sort of thing.
Okay.
So, but I try and look at a more natural route for healing.
Do you sort of recommend different sort of diets? I don't like the word diet, but do you recommend?
Oh, definitely. Probably the largest thing that I've learned, and there's some proof behind this. A lot of doctors don't agree with it, but eating right for your blood type.
Okay.
So I find that's one of the, especially as we get older. When we're younger, we can kind of do anything and we're fine. But as we get older, especially if we're not the O blood type, especially if we're the more rare, the B, A, or AB. And I just had a patient recently that's AB, and I'm like, you're really going to change your life around if you go towards that type of diet. Your body's just going to be happier, it's going to function better, and things that are going wrong, they quite often will just disappear. Just by eating right. But eating right for you as opposed to eating right for me is going to be different, right?
If we're coming to see you, then should we have our blood test done before? Is that something that you do?
Oh, it's that's a hard one to muscle test. A lot of people do know. If you ever give blood, you should know. That's the free way of finding out what your blood type is. I think here it's fairly inexpensive, but I think in the US it's quite expensive just to test for your blood type. So, which is a funny thing, because it's also like the vitamin D3. One of the most important things, if vitamin D3 was a pharmaceutical drug, it would be worth trillions of dollars. But because it's $10 a year to take it, it's not worth anything. But it helps with so many things within the body, within our immune system. I mean, that can help with bone health. That can be something that can also change somebody's life quite drastically. Just a simple supplement.
Do you so I'm just curious about this blood type. So then would a person say to their doctor, what's my blood type? Would it be in their health chart?
It should be, yes.
Right.
Especially if somebody's given birth to somebody. I mean, quite often they'll know, or at least knowing what the children are, quite often then you can figure out, what your blood type might be.
And then if they don't know that and they're here, then do they just go to the lab and ask for, do you do an order? Like, what happens on that case?
You can do that, but quite often I can still go through muscle testing and give them a basic guideline about what's best for them to eat. I mean, for some people it's going to be, like a 6-ounce steak would be a very healthy thing for you to eat 5 days a week. For somebody else, it's going to be, listen, you should be more like vegetarian or even more vegan. So everybody's going to get it individualized, what's best for them.
Wow.
And that's the interesting thing, we're all different. So somebody could even be an O blood type, which usually is going to be the meat, potato kind of eater sort of thing. Maybe they don't need as much vegetables as others. But sometimes with what their condition might be, or illness, or whatever's going on, they might benefit from some changes.
Interesting.
But we're all unique, and so I find my recommendations there for every single person is going to be different.
What is your most favorite, I guess, success story of your?
You know, I'm
Sure, you have.
there's no ego here in anything I'm saying, because there's been so many. I definitely think of the one horse I treated. They were going to put the horse down, and I just went, you know what? I'd love to treat a horse. Just please, you know, I'll pay for the hay or whatever's needed in the time. Let me just try. And this horse helped me and showed me how to treat him. And they were riding him for the next few years. Like, he was completely fine. And it was interesting. If I ever tried to treat another horse at that farm, that horse literally would lose its mind. Like, it became so jealous.
Really?
And like, you fixed your heel. No. It just wanted that. I don't know what
You're
it
my
was.
doctor, nobody else.
And I think of other things of, you know, this is where the Western medicine and kind of the medicine I practice kind of sometimes bang heads. I was treating somebody that was just, they had broken their neck, and there was a break in the spinal column. I don't believe it was complete. I think they thought it was, but I was treating this person. I was even doing points in their legs, and the doctor came in like, oh, I don't know why you're doing that. She's never going to walk again. And 4 months later, you wouldn't know this person had a near catastrophic accident. Like, they were driving, they were brushing their hair, they were walking, they were like doing the normal things of life again. So it's kind of like when you can kind of prove that, no, we can actually do a lot, and you have to trust our bodies are amazing and can do amazing things. So now, I was just part of the person, you know, was it all me? Of course not. I mean, there was a group of people that were helping this person. I mean, they were also having massage, they were also having other kind of physiotherapy treatments and things like that, right? But it's something you always remember is like, you know, anytime you saw that person walking or something like that, or you know, it was just amazing to see.
Yeah, no doubt. I
Yeah.
can imagine if someone telling you can't walk, and then 4 months later you are.
Well, and it was, I think, much shorter than that. I mean, the person, I think, within a couple of weeks already had feelings and could maybe move their toes or something like that. So it was like, it was a progressive, but within 3-4 months, I mean, they were, yeah, you wouldn't notice that they, you know, that they were supposedly going to be, you know, a quadriplegic for the rest of their life.
I love that.
So.
Do you have a clinic here?
Yeah, so at the moment I've got a clinic apartment. So one room, or the room we're in now, is just kind of, you know, just set up solely as a clinic. I don't know do you know Ginny O'Pool?
Yes, I do.
So the Shakti Rising Healing Center. So I also work out of there sometimes.
Okay.
I also, for some people, they prefer, I mean, especially if they're only down for a weekend, they would, especially because you're going to feel tired after the treatment usually. A lot of people prefer that I go see them at their condo, which is also fine. Just takes me a bit more time, but it's so. And then, yeah, in the future, I mean, hopefully I can collaborate with more people and have, you know, more massage therapists, physiotherapists, and different people working together. I mean, that would be kind of a nice dream as well.
Right.
But at the moment, I'm just keeping it, you know, simple and and easy. So it makes it. I'm loving it at the moment. So
That's great. And what are your hours of operation?
I am not a morning person. I find with the good and bad is when I was just doing acupuncture, I could do that from 8 in the morning to midnight, and I could do that easily. Now I find with the energy work, it's actually coming from me. So when I'm putting my hands on somebody, and maybe the acupuncture is not doing enough, and I have to push something energetically, it's hard to explain, but let's say somebody's kidneys are very cold and they're just not functioning well. It's actually, I'm actually helping to put warmth or something there. It's hard to explain, but it's very, very draining. So for me, the longest part of the treatment is actually after the treatment, where I really need to love living here, walk barefoot, go on the beach, go in the water. I try to swim every day. It just kind of helps to clear everything out. And then I feel much better. So it takes me a long time. So I try to just do afternoons and evenings.
So if
And
someone
I,
lived on the beach, then that probably would be a good thing. Would you go and do your swim out right after?
sorry, say the
If
beginning.
someone lived on the beach,
Oh
like
yeah, that's yeah.
then
As I
would
said,
you go for a swim after?
when we were talking about what I just did before, I was sitting with the person on the beach. They were sitting on the beach. So we're both grounded. We're in the sunshine. We had Rosie lying beside both of us, and that made it just a much more simple, easier, and just a wonderful, beautiful treatment, a beautiful connection for that person.
Wow. Well, I can't
So
wait to book an
yeah,
appointment. And
yeah.
do you want to give us any indication of cost? I know we didn't
Oh,
talk about that. We should talk about that and
I really try to be very flexible. I've actually been amazed with the people that even whatever cost or at the end of the treatment, they're just, okay, what was that? Whatever I say, quite often they're saying, no, that's too inexpensive. I'm giving you extra or something like that. I've never done this to become rich or wealthy or anything like that. I just love helping people. That's my passion. So, I mean, I try and kind of base it on like $1 a minute, and then we decide whatever the cap will be, because I don't want people worried if it's going to take longer, or I'm taking longer for my benefit. No, I would never do that. So it's that gives a rough idea. But I mean, there's some people I treat for 3 hours for $20. Other people are, donating me the dinner voucher or something like that. It's kind of, yeah, I mean, I'm trying to find the sweet spot, so to speak. I want to be available to anybody.
sure.
So like, I don't want that to be a barrier.
How do people book an appointment with you?
So I guess my phone number, I don't know if you have, or the emails, kind of, those are two ways of.
Yeah, so for people who are listening, watching, we're gonna repost it on the Facebook and on YouTube channel with Brian's phone number and his email, so that.
Oh, okay.
And then your phone, you have WhatsApp as well.
Yeah, the WhatsApp is, I find that's usually the best. That's the easiest, and people can ask a lot of questions. I also do free consultations. So for somebody, especially as you said, a lot of people are like just apprehensive or needling, or who is this person, sort of thing. It's like, well, just come and meet me, and we'll just do a quick consultation. I'll see what's going on, and give you my idea of what might work. And there's times when I've just been, what, I think actually you should have a massage first, or do something different before you see me. Or after you see me, it all depends, right? So I just want the best for the person.
Rosie, do you have someone else special in your life that moved with you?
We'll see. At the moment, yeah, I'm trying to figure that out as well. But there's, I do find the Mexican people are beautiful. So I do have a Mexican girlfriend. We're just trying to figure out, because she's living in California at the moment, and I'm here, and we're trying to figure out where that's going to go. So I want the best for both of us as well. So.
¿Habla español?
Sí. Un poquito. No es perfecto, pero todos los días estudiar o intentar un poquito más.
So you can make your way with the Mexican patient then.
I find, yeah, the Mexicans they're fun to treat, and I learn so much more. I mean, I learn so much more Spanish doing it that way. I mean, sure. I'm Duolingo every single day, but I find you're not going to learn it that way. You really got to go and just talk to the people. So I just go out, go see a band, and I'll talk to people. They want to speak to me in English. Nope, I want to learn Spanish. I'll just forcibly talk about, even if I'm talking poorly, at least I've slowly learned that way. Because I find just the grammar and the verbs, and there's going to be 1,000 variations to every single verb in Spanish. So it's a beautiful language, but not an easy one to learn.
So besides learning Spanish, what other types of things do you like to do outside of work?
Being at the beach, being with Rosie, listening to the live music here, even doing things like a trivia night or at Bottoms Up, or I'm not trying to push, but I find I'm in the El Mirador, And I just find it's just beautiful. You can just walk everywhere and
Oh
see
yeah.
so many different things. And so one night I love No One Knows, the rock band. I love dancing. I'm not very good at it. That's why I like dancing to rock music, because it doesn't matter what you do.
Right.
But I mean, they're amazing musicians. So every time I hear them, every time Rosie hears them, she starts to pull me towards, because she knows there's going to be people there that are going to pet her.
Right.
So even during spring break, walking her down the beach, if there's ever like an autistic child or a child that's really stressed, she just goes right up to them. She's also like a little therapy dog, it seems.
Wow. Well, you
So,
guys make a good team.
yeah, I think so.
Do you have a Facebook page?
Yes.
Like a
So
business?
I think I don't have a business one yet. I just have my personal one. But I know it's just my name, Brian Phillips. And I think if you put acupuncture or acupuncture Ajax, because that's where the clinic used to be, I know I come up then.
I'll find it and
Yeah.
we'll post that.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you check
Sorry.
your messenger very often? Yeah, you do.
Yes, I do check every day. I'm terrible at social media, but I do try.
Well, I'll see if I can help you out and book my
Yeah.
appointment at the same time. Anyways, it's
Oh,
5:32. We've had a half
okay.
an hour of great conversation. You're
I
such
hope
an
it was
asset
somewhat
to this.
entertaining.
I know I'm speaking for many people that we're pleased to have you here. You're such an asset to this community. We want you to do well.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time. And I look so forward to being able to help you at some point in time.
That sounds great.
That
Everyone
works for
have a
you.
great rest of your night. The weather is absolutely beautiful. This is probably one of my favorite times of year. So everyone enjoy the beach, and I won't see you next week because, believe it or not, I'm going to Cancun for a week. I haven't been there in years, but I need a little bit of a break. But I'll be back online the following Thursday. So we'll tune in then. Thanks, everybody. Have a nice night. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.